Kind of a different video today, more like a product review. Not being paid for this, just happens to be a product that I purchased about 6 years ago. I got it online, I think, from eBay for about $115. I see it's still available on Amazon. They were asking $127 for it. Comes from Japan. It does have Japanese writing in it, but as people on Amazon explain, the instructions that come with it are pretty intuitive, and you can kind of figure out what the buttons do, even though the instruction is written in Japanese. And additionally, in the questions section for this product, I've answered a lot of questions about it, so all the secrets are laid bare. It is very accurate. It does a very good job. I have compared it to TrackMan. Okay, I did find that this unit measures swing speed and ball speed 5 miles per hour faster than real life, but it's consistent. If you calculate out and you see that you hit an 80-mile-an-hour ball speed, take 5 off of that, it was a 75-mile-an-hour ball speed. Same goes with the club head speed. If it says you swung it at 100, yay, realize, no, it was only 95. So go for that 105. And then you know you got 100. But anyway, today I'm going to introduce this product. I'm going to take it to the driving range, hit a few balls with it, and then show you the data that was collected. Well, here it is, the star of today's show, the GST-5 W, affectionately known to me as the Yupiter. It's my golf radar detector. Let me turn it on here and let's see what we get. So I hold down the power button and it comes up, and it's got a bit of data from the last time I was out at the driving range. Seems I was hitting a 6-iron, and that's it considers it a modern 6-iron with the loft. It uses that 6-iron when it's calculating what the yardage your shot is based on the ball speed that the unit detected. So as you go along, there's a shot indicator up at the top. Right now it's on 0 shots because I haven't taken any, but that'll increment as I go along, and then the data will show. We've got the club head speed here. Like I said in my previous video, it's in meters per second. The ball speed is also in meters per second. It gives the yardage, however, in yards, and then there's the smash factor. The smash factor is simply the ball speed divided by the club head speed that was used. There's a power indicator at the top. One of the things I love about this unit is when the battery runs down, you just plug it in and it recharges. So it's got a rechargeable battery inside. Now, like I said, because the unit is calibrated in meters, and I'm kind of, brought up on miles per hour, I've got a little conversion chart on the side here that I use. So this one, it says the swing speed was 37.6. So I go down the chart here and I see I've got 36.9, 38. So that was registered at about 83 miles per hour. So no. Now, there are some buttons here that I can use to change the club that's being selected. 5-iron, 4-iron, so on like that. Utility clubs, those are the hybrids. And then 9-wood, 7-wood, 5-wood, and then ultimately the driver. Now, the unit does also work for putting. So if you want to work on your putting in the house or even outside, this is an excellent tool to determine how hard you're hitting the golf ball, how far that golf ball goes. It uses its radar function to measure the speed of the golf ball, so it's very accurate in what it says here, both the velocity of the ball and how far the ball traveled in meters. Now, I looked at the LCD very carefully here. If I lean it, I don't know if you can pick up on that, but it does, look like miles per hour. The meters also has yard down below, so maybe there is some way of getting this unit to read out in English measurements, but I've yet to find out. If somebody knows, please comment below. All right, so after you've hit a group of particular shots with this device, there's a button here. It's the data button. If you hold that button down for about 2 seconds, it goes ahead and it does this routine, and it saves the data to the memory card. There's a memory card in the side of the unit here. If I open the door, you can see the SD card goes in there, and there's also the charging port here. On the back of the unit, for my reference, I have what are the modern smash factors I can expect from any particular club. And then below that, I've got a little crib sheet on there that helps me to remember, if I can get this open, helps me to remember the certain commands that you need to hit. The numbers correspond to the buttons going from the left to the right as the unit is facing you. So this would be the button 1, button 2, button 3, button 4. So some of the most important things are how to clear out the data. You hold down button 2 and 3. How to save the data to the SD card, hold button 2 down for 2 seconds. And then also there's a function where you can adjust the calculated distance that the unit uses to calculate that yardage you've hit the ball number. On my unit, I went through this one time for the pitching wedge, and I adjusted it because the pitching wedge number that it was showing wasn't exactly what I was seeing in real life. However, I found for the irons, 8-iron and lower, all the way to driver, the unit as it comes from the factory, I didn't see any need to use any adjustments. All right, so the unit, looking at it from the back side, there's some screws here, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open the unit up. We're going to take a look at the guts of the thing. When you're using it to measure a shot, if my golf ball was over here, I face the unit this way. And I know that's the way I need to face it because there's this part of the unit is where the radar signals come out. The other side doesn't quite look like that. So when I open it up, it'll be really clear what's what, and then we'll talk about what's inside a little. All right, I've got her opened up, and we can see that on this side there's the battery, and then the circuit board, and then this part here is the radar unit, and then this metal part here, that's called the radar horn. It's basically a device that directs the radar waves. So if we look at this from the top, we can see that when the radar comes out of this, it kind of spews out at an angle, and this would be in the horizontal. So it's seeing stuff out here and out here. But when you use the unit, you want to make sure that your golf ball, your swing, and the unit are all on the same line going straight. And then from the front, there's the plastic cover that covers the front of the radar unit, where the microwaves come out, I guess, or the radar waves come out. And then here, this is the radar horn. Okay. Now, in the horizontal, it sprays out, but it also sprays out and receives. If we look at it from the side, you can see that there's an angle to it. All right, so that anything that would be above that upper angle wouldn't be received back by the antenna. So it's basically spraying out a cone of radar beams, and anything that's reflected back has to kind of be within within that cone. So what I've found out with this unit is that lower lofted shots, like driver shots, 3-iron shots, hybrid shots, they register really good because the signal that's going out and the signal that's bouncing off the golf ball and coming back are within the range of this cone. But if you hit a shot like a lob wedge shot that gets elevated very quickly, it might see your club, or it actually does see your club. However, it loses the ball very quickly because the ball quickly jumps out of the range of the cone. So this unit, from my experience, only works from pitching wedge and lower. Pitching wedge, 9-iron, 7-iron, long irons, driver. It doesn't quite, it suffers on sand wedge, lob wedge, anything more than 50 degrees of loft. So that is a serious limitation of the unit. However, in where it does work, 9-iron through driver, it does a pretty good job. All right, so I'm going to close this back up, and I'm going to take it to the driving range, and we'll collect some data. All right, well, welcome to the hitting shack at Tea Time Golf. I've got my bag here, the hitting mat, and then if you've watched the last couple of videos that I've done, I talked about our 150-yard flag. Let me zoom in here. You see our car off to the left, that's like 135. And then out here, out there it is, there's the 150-yard flag. Let me hit the focus button here. And that little mound behind it. So when I hit the 152, I'm pretty sure I'm getting it. When I go 157, the back of the mound, I'm getting it. The target over there, that's our 185. And then there's that tree. If you can fly it to the middle of the tree, you've carried it 235 yards. Alright, so I've got the Yupiter all set up. That didn't take much. What I do is I set the Yupiter on top of a piece of foam in order to get it up above the level of the mat, and then it's about 6 feet behind where I'm going to hit the ball. I got some data here from today's session. Looks like my club speed averaged about 35 something miles per hour, except for that number 4 where it said I got a little bit slow, 29.4. And then as far as yardage for this 8-iron, 29, 127, 124, 128, 128, 120, a little bit low, 124, 119, a little bit low, but pretty good, pretty consistent capture of the data. Smash, 124, 128, 145, that's suspiciously high, but it could be that shot was a line drive. And 129, 131, 122, bad hit, 128, okay, 121, bad hit.